people anxiously waiting here. They're wondering what's going on. I was like, oh, Eli.
They're like, well, okay, good job.
You're making an entrance.
Exactly. All right, and welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
Yes, and we're joined by Kat Bernier. It's very cool to have you here.
Hey guys, how you doing? Thanks
Good.
for having me.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Very exciting. Yes. FX artist, makeup artist. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
How does one get into, first of all, like what interested you in that?
I think like it's pretty much like, I know you've talked to a lot of effects people and people in the film industry. I think we kind of all have the same story. Like when you're little, you love stuff and you think like you see things you want to create. I always love to build things. But my big thing is when I was little, and it hasn't changed, I was afraid of everything. I was afraid of the dark. I was afraid of monsters. And then for some reason, I thought that if I built something, they wouldn't scare me so much. That didn't really work, but at least it gave me something to do.
What kind of stuff did you make then?
I don't like I remember when I was little, my grandpa, like my grandma and grandpa would like build all these crazy, awesome things. And they were totally into Christmas too. And my grandpa would build costumes and my grandpa would help them. And he taught me how to do my first little prosthetic. He'd just literally make it out of like silicone, from back then there was no Home Depot, but, and he'd make a little mold and, you just kind of learn from there and, oatmeal and glue and shit like that. And finding whatever you could to, turn yourself to something different, Yeah. So, yeah.
So did you do anything fun at that time, like for Halloween?
Yeah, I mean, my mom would always like make all of our costumes and my grandparents were like ridiculously talented. And I don't know, I just kind of like, I think back then I would just like dress up like like be a witch or back in the day when they had the plastic, I was Casper and you couldn't breathe and you would sweat inside those things and then it cut your lips because they were all hard and plastic.
That's a good point. No one ever mentions that, but yeah. I used to collect those masks.
Cut your lips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very dangerous.
So, yeah, they are dangerous, but gosh, they were so cute. Like now you look at them and you're like, man, don't you wish it was more of that?
Yeah, they make the big ones now, like people put on their walls.
Oh yeah. I love that some of that older stuff is coming back in.
Yeah.
It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm. So when did you just like think like this is something I would like to pursue, as a career?
Oh man, like I guess the older you get, the more you don't remember time so much because it's just like, you're like, I love to paint, I love to build and do things. And then I had this stupid idea, like I went to college and I went to school for secondary education to be a teacher. And it's like, I love kids and I love all that kind of stuff, but I always just wanted to like make things. And then not long before I was supposed to graduate, I just didn't do it anymore. I'm like, I'm not going to do it. And I didn't graduate. Sorry. And then I just started kind of working towards that. And, everybody's working towards something is very different because like for me, it was like painting and building and doing things. I mean, back then we didn't have the internet as much, you know what I mean? Like at all. We had dial up and you'd have to go to the library. I'd go to the library and I'd like research places to like look up things or send letters or whatever. Like it wasn't like nowadays it's like, oh, I want to figure out how to build a fucking T-Rex. And they'll figure you can watch a video to do it. Mm-hmm. I mean, back then you couldn't. You'd be like, well, I got some popsicle sticks and some like shitty craft paint. So let's see what happens. Some cotton. Yeah. That's all you need.
Right. Actually, when you brought up oatmeal, I remember reading the Tom Savini book when I was a kid. My brother got it for me for my birthday or Christmas one year. And
those books are awesome.
Oh yeah, and I think it was I think it might have been the in Father's Day and Creepshow that like he used oatmeal or something for part of the mask, which is pretty awesome.
Like it's like when people like Elmer's glue and cotton and I mean when you could get latex. I mean when I grew up, I was from the Upper Peninsula, Michigan. There wasn't any stores. There wasn't like Amazon. So you just kind of like, what can you put on you that isn't going to kill you? You know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. The internet is good though. I look up. That's how I make a lot of recipes or anything. You can look up how to do anything on YouTube.
It's amazing. It's like life changing. It really is. Like you can, I mean, everything's at your fingertips, and you can learn so much from people, and you can get a hold of these people. Like I couldn't even imagine being able to talk to the people that you can now, just from sending up a personal message or just saying hi, that you never would be able to, you know. And that makes me sound old, but I'm not really old. I mean, but it's still, it switched off so fast, you know. So it's cool, like how it is now. I mean, it's, some things aren't cool, but you know, you can learn a lot if you're interested and you want to take the time. So
yeah, you can learn, or you can just be a troll and be very negative.
Yes,
those are your
which
options
I hate
on the internet.
I hate that. Yeah.
So Trista, how did you two meet?
Oh, well, we met on Purgatory Road, which we shot in Mississippi.
Yes.
Well,
and it was I love that place. I love that little town. That circle was so cool. And yeah, I was doing straight makeup and then working with Marcus Cook on effects, and kind of bouncing back and forth, and it was a little difficult, but it was like everybody there was so cool, and it was fun. It was fun. It was cold sometimes, but it was fun.
Yeah. Were you always into horror movies?
I loved them because they scared me, but then they just scared me, which made me like, it's like a conundrum. It's like I'd want to watch them because I couldn't, or I wasn't allowed to watch so much of it. And then like I remember when I was little, my parents were watching The Exorcist, and I was really little, and I crawled out of my bunk bed and like army crawled into the living room to just see something. And then at that point, it was when they still had the spider walk down the steps.
Right. Yeah.
In the movie before they took it out, and then they put it back again. Yeah. And I remember it was that part, and then her like on the bed writhing, and you know, like I was like, oh,
pretty hardcore movie even now, even with all the stuff that's come out since.
It's still like, for me, it's my favorite, scariest movies. It still makes me nauseous, but I'm afraid of devil, ghosts, and bugs. So yeah.
That's the three.
Yeah, that's the top three. Yep.
So how did you get involved in horror movies from there?
It's kind of like I you know, when I started, I was, like I said, originally from the peninsula, and then when I moved down to the lower peninsula, and then I moved to Chicago because my sister Angela lived there, and I kind of followed her because we're 11 months apart, and like between in that time, like getting to know, I never went to the horror conventions. I went to a couple of them, and that's when I met Tom Sullivan, who did Evil Dead. And he saw my stuff, and he's just like, one day he was like, hey, take this job. I'm not doing it. And that was my first bigger one that I did.
That's pretty cool. By the way, the chat here is a lot of people are saying hello to you. Rich Carpenter says, I love you, cat dog.
Aw. So hello.
And L Purdy says, oh my God, hey cat, I love you. Marcus Koch says hello. Miss Candace, a lot of people are. Stellar Steven. So we'll get to all these questions. Thank you for sending questions.
They'll be very happy. They're probably like, oh my God, she took a shower, she brushed her hair. Look at her. Don't even know her.
Well, I did notice overalls, and a friend of mine, Sophia Cassiola, she wears overalls when working on movies, and I wore them briefly, and I agree, they're very comfortable, and they're also very useful because you have all the pockets.
Oh yeah. I started wearing bib overalls like forever ago. I had a pair, and when I was little, and they were like supersized, and they were the striped bib overalls. And since then, like anytime I'm working, if I'm painting, even if I'm not on set, if I'm doing something creative, I always wear them. I think now I'm on my 4th or 5th pair. They last forever. The Dickies last forever. But so it's kind of cool. It's like a story on them, and I don't wear them to like have a style. I wear them just because it's just a thing that I do.
They're useful.
And anyone that knows me, any movie I work on or anything, I'm always wearing my bibs. And yeah, and I wear them super, super big so I can like stick so much in them. I mean, it's almost disgusting. I've seen pictures of me and I'm like, oh God, I look horrible. But like, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're doing your job.
Yeah, I found them to be very useful.
Yeah, they're fun. They're fun. And then when at the end of the day, you drop them on the hotel floor, you take a shower, all you got to do is change your underwear and your t-shirt and you're good for the next day.
Yeah, they're very
You don't
practical.
have to think twice.
Right. Don't ask me why, but I actually have a pair on this bookshelf down here. Honestly, I don't know why, but yeah. Jay Burns, we love you, Kat. So talented.
Aw, love you, Chair.
Daniel Stempian says he misses you, Kat.
Oh, wow. Everybody, thanks for coming on. Sorry it took me so long to get on.
They were yelling at me too. And Marcus says the bibs are classic. Yeah. I got the brunt of the
Yeah, everybody's like, geez. And I'm like, it wasn't my fault. It was all Neal's fault. That's all it was.
So that's what happens here. Everyone blames me.
No, I would never blame you. You are way too into Christmas. I really approve. No, it was my fault.
Yeah, I thought maybe I was going overboard since it's a horror show, but I was like, oh, that's fine.
No,
I didn't put this much stuff up for Halloween, but Christmas I have all the lights up. I don't know.
I think it's amazing. I think more people should do it. I mean,
I agree.
More people should be surrounded by things and make them happy.
Right. I'm going to miss them when Christmas is over. I'm going to have to start find a holiday every month and
keep them
Arbor
up.
Day, or put up all these trees. And
no, why not? Little tiny trees.
Right. Yeah. Trista's got a cactus back there, which I found out earlier is going to grow to 6 feet tall.
Really?
I only recently found this out. Yes.
I need one. I need one. So when I'm gone, I don't have to worry about watering.
Market. I didn't know.
I just like the idea over periods of the show, you can figure out how far along the show is. Like, oh, this is season 2. Look how big the tree is.
Yeah, all of a sudden we're all wrinkly, and it's like, damn, it only grew this far.
Yeah, it's true, 6 feet, but for over how long? Maybe it's like over 50 years or something.
I think you're safe, Trista.
Who knows? It could be a little shop of horrors situation.
I was like, if it starts to sing to you and wants you to feed it blood.
As long as you record it.
As long as it's on video, it's okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
We'll find people to feed it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's plenty of people.
Appropriate for the podcast.
Right. So always look on the bright side.
Absolutely.
So Miss Candace wants to know about the Burn Betty story.
Oh, Burn Betty story. Well, that's a picture that's on something that you like on the post.
Oh, the band. Okay.
Yeah, I built that for John Schroeder. He was a production designer. He still is, I'm assuming. I haven't talked to him in a little bit. We call him Superman. And he was doing a movie up in, I think, New York. And I built it and sent it to him. And he ended up like getting in an accident and like a little car fire kind of thing. And then, they were trying to pull the burnt body out.
Oh,
like, no, it's a prop. But damn, but her teeth looks good because it's an impression of my teeth.
Wow,
sweet teeth.
You're kind of in it, yeah. That's like that, yeah.
But Burnt Betty's been around. She's at the dump now.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That was a sad ending.
Yeah. So.
Well, she needed to go at some point. I made her with I did tons of layers, but I also used gelatin to give it that really nice, translucent flexibility. And we were in a budget, couldn't use the silicone. So she was in my garage in a box, and some mice ate on her. So, they had a delicious meal.
Yeah, poor Burnt Betty was through a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Besides being burnt, she's been eating a mice. And
oh, Betty.
Pale Petra says, "Oh my goodness, Kat, we miss you. You're a beautiful rock star."
Everybody's way too nice.
Austin H, we miss you back home, Kat.
Aww.
And Rich says, this is Stephanie. Tell them how you used to dress up as Reagan and scare the crap out of everyone in the house in the middle of the night.
Yeah, I did do that. I did. That's like I said, that was my very favorite scary movie. And so that would be the one. Like, I've done makeup on myself quite a few times, but the Exorcist makeup, I think you've seen it, Neal, haven't you? On my
Yeah, I like that. I really like that on the on your Facebook.
Yeah, so I would do that. And I think there was one time that Stephanie, who, like Richard and Stephanie, like we were at the house and their sister Trista was sleeping. And so I did the makeup, and then I kept all the lights were out. So I like crawled across the floor, like dragging my body. And then I slowly put my face up by her face. And I can't remember. I think I had a lighter or something to give some light. And I was like that.
You do the voice very well, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Like, she almost punched me, and then she extra hell.
But sorry to laugh at you being punched.
No,
almost
she
punched,
didn't get me. She didn't get me. I was spry.
I love that you're afraid of everything, but you're tormenting others.
Well, yeah, well, you have to. Like, everyone should feel your pain.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah, absolutely.
So when I was looking over all your credits on IMDb, lots of things stood out. But We're Still Here is actually I listed as my favorite movie that year it came out. I can't remember the exact year, but I really love that movie. Very funny, I think, which some people might overlook. But
yeah, it actually is.
So what was that like? I think it's very funny. I also like there's a lot of veteran actors in it, and I really like everything about the movie.
Like Monty being in there, and Larry, and Barbara Crampton, and
yes.
I mean, it's more Monty's more of a veteran. I mean, obviously all of them are, but like I always think of, like, when I see Barbara, geez, she looks like she's still 20,
Yeah.
And yeah, like doing We Are Still Here was awesome. I love that movie. I love doing it. It was crazy. Like, we were filming in upstate New York, outside of Rochester. It was in Palmyra. And I mean, there were some days it was like 100, like it was like I don't know, like 13 below zero or more. And we were filming in this beautiful old house, and the people that owned it were amazing and let us do whatever we wanted to because they were going to rehab it. And yeah, I mean, it was cold. It was cold, but I mean, I don't know, like, everybody really had fun being there, and that made it so much better. Like, we were doing something cool, like, that's the cool thing about finding a movie. And Ted was just so like just sweet, and just would listen and stuff like that. So
is it like, I don't know him really well, but I knew him a little bit because he did, before he made the movie, then went on Mohawk. He worked in PR for movies. He would, send me, to, hey, plug this movie, whatever. And then it was cool to see him go on and make his own movies.
Yeah. He was like, I found it very exciting because, like, it's hard because, I mean, everybody has their own personality, right? And especially with directors, like, there's never going to be a time that I'm going to say, like, something negative about somebody, because I think that everyone put in a situation when they're really stressed, you will see parts of them that they normally wouldn't put out,
Mm-hmm.
But Ted never did that. Ted was just like super excited to do it. And he was just always so happy. And he was like, I love watching with the actors. He was just like really like a actor director kind of thing, like into that. And also very, supportive of effects and knowing how much time it takes because of his background and him understanding. So that is always really helpful when you're working with somebody, when they understand, the time suckers, because like special effects is the biggest time sucker in the world. Mm-hmm. Like, people are like, oh, we want like ask tons of special effects, and then we're like, but we have 5 minutes. What can we get? And I'm like, well, here's a Q-tip and here's a match. Let's light it on fire, and that's what you got. Like, it just, you need time to do it. And like, Todd was cool about it. They took the time to do it.
The great look of the movie. I like it too, that it's a great combination of both. The effects are really good, and the monsters when you see them are cool. and also just a great long story. It's kind of a slow story to begin with, and then you
Right.
tell
Yeah.
so it's a good combination of everything, I think.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it has like the thing that I found interesting on that, it has like slower moments, but the slower moments never made me bored.
Yeah, exactly.
So they were like really good parts of the story. So I thought, I mean, I love the way it turned out, and like I said, it was cool to work on, and I mean you have Alyssa Dowling, and then Guy that was in their makeup, and that's a lot of makeup to be in, and they were just like really great about it.
Yeah, and that's a great look for I don't know if you consider them ghosts or whatever, but they look like they've been burned, and they're just very creepy looking.
Yeah, it definitely was a unique design, and that was all Marcus, like his idea of doing that, and it was something that you just different from what you would see, I think, normally, because I think some people be like, well, I want them to be actually just like an authentic burn. It was like really cool with the charred, and I think really differently stylized, which kind of like made it different, which is nice to see something different.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mentioned Barbara Crampton. I'm a huge fan too, and Larry Fessenden,
Awesome.
I'm also a big fan of.
Yeah, he's really nice. Yeah, I mean, for him, he had to do the appliances, and he sat like a little statue and let me do it, and they turned out gorgeous because he was so patient to let me do my job. So,
yeah. Do you have a question, Trista?
Yeah, as you, or I guess we mentioned earlier, Kat and I met working on Purgatory Road. So I'm just wondering actually how you came to work on that film.
So that one again, like that's like in those veins of like when Marcus and I were doing like just strings of movies, and I, like somehow, like I don't know if I'm sure Marcus knew Mark, and so he Marcus asked me on with that one, so we went and did it. I mean, Mark was another awesome one to work with. It was cool because when you work with Mark Savage, it was like for me, I think it's very important to, if you have issues or time constraints, to be able to actually talk to somebody and be like, hey, I know that you guys are running behind today. I know you have a lot to do. We have a lot of effects to do. So you tell me honestly how much time you have, and let's work together to figure out what we can do. And he was super flexible about it, and very open. So that's, again, like always a blessing to work with people like that.
Was Trista hard to work with on the movie?
Oh my God. Am I allowed to talk about that?
You can be honest.
No, you're amazing.
I'm a total nightmare. He already knows.
Your little rubber boots were so delicious and cute. No, like she was not one bit of a pain in the ass at all. She was always just super happy, and it didn't matter. Like some people get bummed out when the weather's crappy or if things are going their way, and Trista was never that way. She was always like really just happy to be doing like make believe like we're doing. I mean, because in a way, I mean, you have stressful days, but you should have fun. This is all not real, So
yeah. I've been on set with Tristan. It was very cold, and she's a trooper, and
she's awesome.
Yeah,
she just. Yeah, she's always just like a really shiny, positive star. And like, if you ever feel down or in the dumps or you feel overwhelmed, like she's always, I don't know, she's just like happy. So it like.
Yeah, honestly, not just because Trista's here, but she was very, very motivational to me because I have a small part in the movie and I've never really acted, but she was very supportive and made it happen.
Yeah,
I always apologize that she's very talented and she's in an upcoming movie with a total imbecile, but
oh my gosh,
but,
I've been considering accepting his apology for some time.
Yeah.
You're like, you just gotta wait. You gotta make sure you're in the mood to do that.
Thank you guys. Hopefully I'd love to be able to see you guys on set another time, both of you.
Oh, it'll happen.
I love that.
Yeah. Along those lines, what's this time been like this last year?
Oh, for you guys or for me?
For you, I assume a lot of things you had planned, you didn't come to fruition, and
You know what? Yeah, this year's been weird, but it's weird for everybody, right?
Sure.
And
That's
I
a
mean,
good way to put it.
actually, I had a lot of opportunities to work. I had to pass on them because there's a lot of things that I was thinking and making sure that it would weigh out the right way. The last one I did was Willy's Wonderland, and that went through. I came home in March, and then I kind of like, you know, sadly, when I would be working, like I got like Roy from Sort of Facts calling me and stuff like that. Hi, Roy, if you're there. If not, I love you, Roy, anyway. And but uh it was my choice, to not do them, and but I got to do like I just finished I think like a month ago I did worked with Jason McBain. He did this music video, Rocking the Apocalypse. It's so fun. And actually I did makeup for it. And since it was like quarantini kind of thing, I ended up doing makeup on myself. So I was in it, which normally I don't like. Normally I'm like in things, but I'm background people because they force you to. You know what I'm talking about, Trista? They're like, we don't have enough people here. We got to have the crew be in here. So I did that, and then now I'm building some stuff for Paradox Universe. They're doing a film in January, so I'm building it at the house and shipping it off.
Oh,
So,
interesting.
but next year is going to be. I'm really praying and hoping next year is going to be a lot better for everyone, and it'd be really awesome to just start like working and feeling good about working again. And safe, because it's not just about my safety. It's literally about the people that I'm doing makeup on. I'm touching their biggest organ on their body. So it's very important to me for safety.
67 Dano says, great to see you, Kat. Hopefully your next Texas film won't be as miserably hot.
Oh, yeah. Texas is always hot.
Uh-huh.
Many stories about Texas. They're all good. All
right. Which is harder to work in, like the -13-degree weather or the very hot weather?
I think, honestly, when it comes to logistically, it would be probably the hot weather. The cold weather doesn't work when you're trying to like build and have something set. And I mean, they're both bad, but like heat's the worst because like I've done movies that have things totally set up for like massive prosthetics that you build, and then you go to put it on and it's like 107, and then it just falls off in a couple minutes or less than that. So yeah, I'd say heat, but I hate cold. So, but yeah, they both kind of suck.
Yeah. Terrible Troy has joined us.
How's everybody doing? Hello there.
Hello.
How's it going tonight?
Great. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Yes. This came up in the chat earlier, but I was waiting until we talked about We're Still Here. Stellar Steven wants to know about Mohawk, and I also want to know did doing We Are Still Here lead into Mohawk?
Yeah. Because We Are Still Here was done by Todd, and then Mohawk by Todd, and Travis Stevens was obviously part of it too.
I know him too.
Yeah. Yep. And yeah, so doing Mohawk, like I thought that was really cool. Like we didn't have to worry so much about like there's some things like if I was doing straight makeup or anything like that, or for the people that do costumes or even prop production, which we did have to do quite a bit of like molds for things for people for weapons on Mohawk, but we didn't have to do as much research for that one because like your body's pretty much your body since forever, so like chopping somebody in half looks the same, so that was helpful. Like it's just so it's like blood's red, it's always going to be red, or like different types. If it's coming out of your mouth, maybe it's foaming a little bit, but it was cool, and it was really interesting filming up there, and it was beautiful, and what an interesting story to be a part of, and also make it as real as you can. And it's tough because doing special effects, you have to really go on the line of what looks real and what your brain can comprehend. Because if you actually have ever looked at real pictures of things that have happened to people, it doesn't even look real.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Interesting.
disturbing.
Yeah. So do you have to, along those lines, do you like look at what kind of research do you do depending, what kind of movie you're making?
I mean, it really depends on what's going on and how people are killed. I mean, and it's no offense to like a lot of people that kill people in movies, but like people kind of have that same, like through all my career, I probably killed people a lot, like, I don't know, in a pile of 25 different ways, many times. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to cut off their hand, their arm, you're going to eviscerate them, you're going to chop their head off. It's interesting when somebody does go above and beyond and make it something different, but, it's hard to find a different way to kill somebody, There's only so many things you can do.
Yeah, if it's something that is totally fantastical or like some type of science fiction thing that there would be no like reference to, like is that exciting to just be able to create it from scratch?
I think so. I think more of like realizing when you look at the script and the character and then talking to the director, the producer, or whatever, and going like, okay, like just like when people talk about zombie, well, what kind of blood do you want? Or is it going to be just no blood coming out because they're dead? There's so many questions. And then on top of that, it's like, if it's an alien or whatever, like it's all about interpretation of what they want. And if they don't know what they want, then you kind of make a call on that. I mean, I wish that, gosh, there's so many horror movies out there. It is kind of hard to be like more original and more like, holy crap, somebody just, think of anything that you could do to somebody. I think it's been done on a movie for the most part. There's probably a couple things that I don't want to know about that hasn't been done.
Right. Yeah. So anyone out there knows of.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some things that like, but
anyone here in the chat?
I'm like,
yeah. And Steven says he really liked the native war paint in Mohawk.
Yes, the war paint was done by the straight makeup team, and I know that they did research on that, and they also had like Guy Gaines that he was actually the burnt father in We Are Still Here, and he was doing all like the wardrobe and stuff like that. So yeah, I was really exciting. Like I was really excited watching Mohawk because I was wondering how it would be taken, and how people, because I think a lot of times if something doesn't excite somebody really fast, or unless you're chopping people up like 24/7 on a movie, like a lot of people get bored. And I mean, Mohawk had so many interesting visuals that I think I loved it. I thought it was like a really great, cool movie. I was really proud of Ted.
Rich, a lot of people saying hello. I think we already covered
that.
Yeah.
I love
Ashley
you guys.
Ward says very proud of you as well.
Love you, Ashley.
Trista, you have another question.
Yeah, can you tell us about Zombie Army Productions?
Zombie Army Productions is a production company that I've been around with. I mean, they've been around for forever. I think I've known Teresa and John, and they're the founders. John the Flame Boy, Teresa Walker. I think, gosh, I've known them for like 13, 14 years. They're like an incredible crew that literally, they own and run 2 haunted houses. The one they run, the other one they are corners of, and it's Hell's Gate, and Hell's Gate looks like something out of like Disneyland. It's crazy. It's like a Scooby-Doo thing. Go in, it's all everything. It's hardwood floors, chandeliers. You like walls move. You go underneath fireplaces. It's just so cool. And they've done movies that I've worked with them, and they have paintball stuff. They're just like this company that like just doesn't stop, and they strive for protection, like total perfection. And they're badasses. I mean, I think I'm constantly trying to tell people, I'm like, work with them. If you're doing a movie, go up. It's in Lockport, Illinois. It's right outside of Chicago. They literally have acres of land and all this cool sets and stuff like that. And their workforce is crazy. They have like hundreds of people that are under their command, kind of thing. Like, it's really cool. It's something interesting. And they're fantastic humans too. So you can't beat that.
Mm-hmm. Rich says, tell Kathy Mikey says hi.
Oh, hi, Mikey.
You're so popular, Kat.
Oh, that's because nobody sees me. That's the best way to be popular. You just don't, like, you stay in a little hut. Then people miss you.
I don't give people enough time to miss me, I guess.
Oh, well, I don't know. I miss you already when I'm going to hang up. All your Christmas stuff. Come on. You're killing me.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You can't quite see that these actually are really.
Oh,
I think they're probably more annoying to me than anyone else. But.
Oh, I can see the light up.
They're actually reflecting off my.
I have lights everywhere in my house, so I'm loving it.
All right. American Guinea Pig movies. So these are extreme gore films.
Correct.
So I guess first of all, like, how did you get involved in that, and what do you think of that genre?
Again, that's Marcus. Hi, Marcus. Yeah, like Marcus has done since the beginning with Stephen Biro, and Stephen Biro runs Unearthed Films.
Yeah.
And so when they were doing Bloodshock, which was the second one of the American Guinea Pig, Marcus was directing it, and so he asked me to work with him on it, and I mean, those are really interesting because, like, they have a huge following, and they are extreme gore, and they don't pull, but like, they don't hide anything. They don't pull anything back. I mean, it's no joke. If you don't have the stomach for it, you just don't watch them, Mm-hmm. And but it's crazy the amount of time and effort that they'll put into them with, like, I mean, they're definitely dealing with a particular budget, but I think they do like incredible work, and they really give these people that love the underground and like extreme gore, like, definitely worth their money. You know what I mean? Like, they're giving them what they want. So yeah.
Is that what kind of preparation do you do to do that kind of work?
Well, with that one, when I went there, like, Marcus was starting a lot of sculpts and stuff like that. So it was pretty much that we were just working side by side and getting stuff done. Pretty much like any movie, you know what I mean? Yeah. And then even after, like, when I was supposed to leave, like, we were running a little bit behind in I mean, for the people that haven't seen it, I don't want to, I mean, I know that the movie's been out for a bit, but I don't want to say that ending, but that ending was literally done, like, right before we had to, like, throw them in the shower and get them on a plane.
Oh, wow.
And then I think like Steven worked it out so I could stay an extra day to help them finish the last day. And it was just like, it's very impressive because you have a lot of people getting together that really want to make a product and really want it to look really good, and they take the time to do so, and they're not they won't stop because they're not, they're all working together, and a lot of people are like just helping. So it's not as though you're going in as like a regular movie that you're like, okay, you're getting paid this much a day, here's per diem if you get it, and you're staying in this hotel, and then when it's done you leave. With these movies, they like really put it out there, so they spend the time, which I think is really awesome.
Yeah, I've known Steve a long time, Biro, and he's very passionate about not just his films, but all the movies that they put out.
Absolutely. Yeah. When they find and they get more, when he gets more movies, he like goes way out of his way to promote them. I mean, he doesn't just like sit, and just be like, oh, here you go, if you guys want this. I mean, he pushes them out, and it's a lot of stuff that people want to see that they haven't been able to get. So yeah, I mean, kudos to him and to them. I mean, everybody has their niche in what they're doing, and it's cool for people that want to find that particular, like, movies and stuff like that, to be able to have a place to go to get them.
And he
go on,
filmed
sir.
Purgatory, but
right.
Purgatory wasn't as extreme, I think.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, Purgatory. I mean, yeah, because he ended up going on Earth, didn't it?
Yeah,
Okay,
because I met him at the premiere.
Okay, yeah.
And we hung out afterwards. But yeah, I don't think Purgatory was nearly as extreme as.
No, not at all. Yeah, not at all. I mean, it was still like had,
oh yeah, it's not a Disney film, but
yeah. No.
Right, but it's not. Yeah, even some of the later American Guinea Pig ones, like Songs of Solomon, isn't as extreme as the first few American Guinea Pig movies. But.
Right. Yeah.
Did you know it's going to be black and white? Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering if you knew it was going to be black and white, and if that has any effect on what you're doing on your end.
Yeah, like when I flew down to Florida and I was talking to Marcus, and Marcus mentioned that's what he was going to do, and I thought that was really awesome because obviously for anyone that's watched it, at the very end there's a twist, and but it really didn't. I mean, unlike when you read stuff about like certain set designs and stuff like that people would use certain colors to give a certain hue for a black and white. No, I don't think they like did anything different per se. I mean, because anything with that now, technology is so different. You can
say you could do that probably post, like,
yeah, you can go in
mess
and you
with
can
the colors and stuff.
Yeah, you can shoot everything like super bright and then compress it, and yeah. So,
Trista. All right. Did you have another question, Trista? Start.
Yeah. Do you have any special effects horror stories?
Yes. Yes, I do, but like that'll be and me, Trista, that'd be probably the one thing I won't talk about. Because like every time you do a movie, or like even if it's the best, there's always going to be a time when you're doing a movie, even if it's the best movie, that you're going to have that day that you're like, can you just shoot me in the head, or I'm going to smash my head against the face, or I just want to die, or I'm so tired I haven't slept. And then there's other ones that like literally it's like, oh, some shit is going down. But yeah, I've never been a person to like, if we were talking separately and it wasn't around other people, like we could talk about it, but I just don't, because I'm just, even when I do a movie, I'm just lucky to do a movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I get paid to do this for a living. Holy shit. Thank you.
But like appliances that have caused issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that happens a lot. That happened on Daylight Sun in Texas. And that movie actually turned out really amazing. But like I did pre-production build for like a month and a half, because they were like kind of vampire-y things. So we had all these appliances, everything. I built it all by myself. We showed up on set. We were filming in a courthouse in downtown Dallas, Texas, where Lee Harvey Oswald's cell was, and the floors we were filming on had no air conditioning, so it was really, really hot. It was really, really hot, over 100 degrees hot, and humidity was like over 32%. I mean, they were constantly trying to work on it to get air circulation, and it was scary for me to like come and show up and do all these things. And I did a test makeup and sat my friend Eileen up there. She was a production designer, and I put it on her, and I sat her up in that room, and I set the timer on my phone, and I think it was like 38 seconds or 42, something like that. And it was like medical grade adhesive. It was silicone. It was nothing that was swelling up. It literally was just like, and just falling off her face. And she was sweating so much that even the alcohol base with proper sealers or filters, everything underneath was just within under a minute, it was coming off. And that was mine, like, holy shit, what am I going to do for the next 6 weeks? It was terrifying. I was like, oh. So yeah, But after that, I had to like go clean her up and then sit and talk to the director and go, okay, in a half a day, we have to figure out how we're going to change every look for this entire movie before tomorrow. So yeah, that's one of the one. I mean, shit happens, you know, and you figure it out because what else do? You can't stop. So you just, you know, I don't know, you're like, pull something out of your butt and then make sure it looks really good in the meantime.
You mentioned Christmas a few times, and this is without your head. So do you have any favorite Christmas horror movies? And you've also worked on a lot of them.
Yes. Well, I will say, because I was on the internet and I did see that somebody was talking about Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. I love, you know, the Rankin Bass.
Yeah, I do
and then
too.
everybody's talking about, because I have all the figures, I collect them all, and like that somebody killed, you know, at the end when they're throwing all the misfit toys out with like and then they're like, well, yeah, the fish in the bowl, they didn't give him a like a parachute. They just threw him out. So yeah, so that's a murder.
Sorry to
movie.
laugh. It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, look it up, dude. And they did do that. And then of course Harry Potter. There's a lot of killing in Harry Potter, and that's definitely a Christmas movie. Shoot.
But all those claymation Christmas movies are great.
I'm obsessed with Rankin Bass. I think it just brings you back to the best time, like Baby New Year and Freeze Miser and Heat Miser and stuff like that. You know, makes you feel little again. So, I mean, and other than that, like I love, like I'll always watch like a horror Christmas movie because and on top of that, I watch pretty much any movie. Yeah. And even when people are like, this movie's horrible, I'll watch it and I'll find something I like out of it. I'll be like, dude, that design was awesome, or damn, that lighting was cool, or look at that shot. That shot was like a running shot for like 2 minutes. Like, you know, look at that dolly shot. Like, I find something I always like. So yeah. I don't know. I'm that person that's like, that wasn't bad.
I have a soft spot for Christmas horror, as mentioned on the show. Even there's some ones that clearly aren't good, but I enjoy them.
Yes, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of great ones, though. It seems to me there's more horror movies set in Christmas than there are on Halloween, which I find very odd. But
I know, and I think there should be. I'm like, you know, it's that whole thing of like, man, like, okay, let's be honest, Halloween for people like us is our favorite time. That, and for me, it's Christmas is equal. It's like they should do more. I don't know why that people kind of like brush off of it. I think everything goes in an ebb and flow. Everything's like, well, right now, when was it? Like, gosh, probably in the last 10 years ago, it was all like, everyone needs to be from a college and they all got to be super hot. And then they're all going to go somewhere in a van and they're all going to get killed, you know? And it's like, I mean, dude, let's go back to a haunted house.
Yeah. That's why I mentioned, we're still here. I like to see a movie where there's like veteran actors, where nothing against young people, obviously, but we've seen it so often. It's nice to see some different people on a movie instead of the typical young adult that are all supermodel levels.
Yeah. I like 1,000,000,000% agree, because like the thing for me is like when you look at movies in like the 70s and even in the 80s, it was like I could like
they were good looking people, but they were also believably good looking.
Yeah, people. It was like there was some people that had some hair on their back, or there's some people that like didn't have the perfect skin. They had like, they look normal and then you could associate with them. I think the big thing is, I mean, that was during like the 90s, 2000, that it was like make everyone supermodel hot. And I'm like, for me, I don't believe a story unless I can relate. And if I see a hot chick that her boobs are so big that it's up to her mouth and she's running and her hair's down, and if somebody's going to kill me, my hair is going up in a ponytail, man. And I'm going to run. I'm not going to have high heels on. I'm going to put some shoes on. I'm going to put a sweatshirt on. I'm going to make sure I'm warm, whatever. It's like, I kind of like the fact that they're going back to like, I want to see like a lady that's like a grandma that isn't like 40 years old. I want to see a dude that's cutting wood that doesn't have arms the size of like a toothpick. Like, right. I mean, make it real, because that's what people, in my opinion, I think that's what people believe. I mean, I know maybe not everyone, but
I'm right with you.
I mean, people can watch porn if they want to see the pretty people.
Right. So I have many. No, I've got all my all of that saved here on the laptop. Thoughts on working with Bruce Willis? Or you have a Bruce Willis movie coming out, Breach.
Yeah,
that's from Steven.
Yeah, that was an interesting movie. We filmed that down in Fitzgerald, Georgia. The town was awesome. Like I love filming in small towns. Like everyone just is like super nice, you know. And they always have the best thrift stores, and I love thrift stores.
I miss going to Boston and checking out.
Oh man, dude, that's my favorite. And you know, it was really cool. It was interesting because we kind of had to film the movie, and then Bruce came in, and then we had to film a bunch of things more, and then Thomas Jane came in, and then we filmed more. And yeah, they were all like, they were really easy, at least for me to work with, you know. Bruce's double, Eric, and his stunt guy, Stuart, are the best. They were my favorite. So yeah, they were just, and I've worked with Bruce's daughter, Rumor, before. And so yeah, so it was like, you know, he was sweet, you know. And Rumor was amazing to work with.
Oh, very good. Trista, another question?
Do you have any advice for aspiring effects artists? And this is Beverly, by the way. She's cracking.
Hello, Beverly.
Oh my gosh. Kisses to the kitty.
Well, she's out. She's done here.
David usually is the one who makes the appearance, so Beverly wants some screen time.
Of course. She's a kitty. I think the big thing is like I talk to people and they like, oh, what can I do, or how can I get on a movie? And that's like usually their first question. I want to be on set. I want to do this. And because of the difference in age, it's a little difficult for me to be like, oh, well, you know, just do this. I think the big thing is you need to want it. And now that there's so much things accessible on the internet, like your ass should be on the internet and watching tutorials and learning things and practicing and practice on your arm, your leg. Like get up like a big, you know, those big ass Barbie heads that you used to get that you could curl their hair. Like get one of those and practice on it, whatever. But like practice and try, because I think my biggest issue is when people talk to me, they're just like, okay, tell me what I'm going to do to get on a movie. And I'm like, well, how much makeup have you tried? Have you sculpted? Have you done a mold? Have you like, you know, it's immediate. It shouldn't be immediate gratification. It should be, you got to put the hours in. That'd be like somebody being like, tell me how to be an actor. Well, have you ever even stood in front of the mirror and see what your face looks like when you're making, like, can you perform? Can you make somebody believe you? You know, I think people need to put the time in. I mean, because it's crazy. Like it took me forever to get wherever I'm at now, right? But now I'm on set and I see people that are like 21 and they're a key on set. I'm like, how the hell did that happen? Man, back in the day, you'd have to like do shit to get to be a key. So I think people just need to be proactive and work hard before they just assume that they can get somewhere further than that. Hopefully that doesn't sound bad.
No, I think that goes for
great. Yeah. And
I think it goes for a lot of things.
Acting too, of course. Like everyone, you know, anyone you tell you're an actor, which I don't do very often, but if you do, everyone is, for some reason, in my experience, I find that everyone wants that, right? Wants to be on a film set. But similarly, a lot of times I don't find someone that, you know, unless there's a lot of actors that I know that are actors, but then there's a lot of people that have never done a play, like you're saying, that
right
want the same thing, right? And it's hard to advise someone when you're like, well, I've spent my whole life committed to this and I've made a lot of sacrifices and I work hard.
You want like a magic potion that'll
absolutely. It's like dieting. It's like
I was gonna say, it reminds me of because the cat, you wouldn't know this, but in the last 2 years, I've lost 175, 180 pounds. And people ask
Holy
me for
shit, that's
advice,
awesome.
and I start telling them, and
Yeah,
then
that
they
is
immediately
amazing.
lose interest if it's like you have to do anything different.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. They're like, wait, you mean you just can't like make it
Hey,
happen?
you don't take a pill and just
Right.
boom, you think, well, screw that.
But it also makes me feel very sad because when I talk to people, you know, and when people ask, when I give that response, they kind of look at me like dead-eyed, like, what? Like, I have to do something. I'm like, oh my gosh. I remember like I would do paintings, I do art gallery showings, I do all this stuff. Like, but I didn't just do it because I wanted to like be in the I'm like I was lucky to do a movie. I
Mhm.
did it because it was like there has to be something in you to want and to get to where you're getting. Because if you don't have it in you, then you're not going to get there at all. And if you're not even willing to like watch a video, I'm like, I wish there was 80 videos when I first started. I wish I could have learned this crap instead of like learning it by myself and being alone, you know?
Well, and once you're there, it's so hard too. Like film
And then
shoots
you
are
have to
not
maintain.
right. So like if you don't have a work ethic to get there, you're not going to even want to do all the work required to do it once you're there, right?
Right. Oh my gosh, 2000%. You are so right. And I think literally, at least with that, like it's got to be even harder when it comes to um when people are asking for acting advice because it's like, oh, God bless. I mean, you got to put stuff in. It's not, you just don't walk on somewhere and think that you can smile or say a line and it works. No, you have to actually talk to somebody and they believe what you're saying. And they believe that you're a different person. And yeah, you know, I don't know. I mean, I wish the best for people that want to do it without putting the time in, but I don't know how that's possible because it's even hard to upkeep it.
But and what's the point? Like, and we've spoken about how hard the business is privately, but also I think when you work really hard at something and it's worth it to you, there's a lot of pride that comes with having a body of work, right? And so there's just no point in doing it if you don't want to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm very proud of what I do, but I also know that what I do d- doesn't doesn't define me. You know what I mean? Like I'm never one of those people that it's like, oh, well, I'm like you can be obsessed with what you do and everything, but like I can still breathe without it. You know what I mean? And you have to be able to separate it enough so you can stay grounded to keep doing it. I mean, because if you become too full of yourself, then you're not yourself anymore.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the best artists live humbly, in my
Yeah.
opinion. Especially as an actor, like how am I supposed to? For me, acting is only empathy, really. I only do it
Correct.
because I'm such a sensitive, empathetic person, and if I weren't, I would be a very bad actor. I think like those two things aren't separate. But on the same hand, as you all know, my roommate is a doctor, so I I don't have an ego about what I'm doing. Like I'm not
Right.
saving lives. And as we've spoken about, I think COVID really puts a lot of that into perspective. As well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, the interesting year it has been.
Yeah.
This is we've talked about something meaningful. Then from here, Shay wants to know: can you turn to the right to see the Christmas tree?
Oh my gosh.
I
Very
love
good.
it.
Yeah.
Is that a
Yeah,
silver Christmas tree or white
that's just
Christmas
one of our Christmas trees. That means that's got to be my husband that said that.
tree? I love it. Yeah. Troy and I, because Troy's brothers, we when I was very young, our mom had a silver Christmas tree, It
Oh
was like
yeah.
a real old one from like the 70s or 60s.
Oh, that's what I want. I want one of those, like the aluminum ones. I want one so
Yeah.
bad. They're so
Yeah.
expensive and they're hard to find. But if anyone out there finds one and they just want to give it to me, feel free.
Right. Yeah. I guess we got rid of it years ago, but
Yeah,
I'm not
you'd
sure
have to
why.
dig around, Neil, see if it still exists, because that was one
Yeah,
of
If
and
it's
then the
anywhere, it'd be
color
down here in the
wheel.
basement
Remember, you
somewhere.
put the color wheel on the ground and you would put lights on it because it'd start on fire. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And when we had cats that would get at night would knock the whole
Just
tree down playing with
and
the
crawl up it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it was always you'd wake up and it would be everywhere.
You'd be like, damn you cats, I
And
love
they'd
you,
just be
but
laying there looking
everything's
all
plastic from
innocent.
now
Yeah.
on.
So Wally's Wonderland, you did mention it. I don't know how much you can talk about it.
Okay, so Wally's Wonderland is Willy's Wonderland now.
Willie's okay. It changed from Wally's to Willie's. All right.
Yeah, only because I think it had to come down to like I think it's like what is it? Crap, the Chevy Chase movie.
Oh, Vacation.
Yes, National
Oh yeah,
Lampoon's
Wally's
Vacation.
World. Okay.
I think it had to do with that. I think it had to do with I didn't get like all the logistics about why, but like I always loved it being Wally's. It's Willie's works, you know. That was a fun one. Sadly, I can't say anything about it, but it was super, super fun. Like, I mean, you always go in. We filmed it right outside of Atlanta. You know, the first couple days is always like, you know, you're putting your feet in the water and trying to figure things out. And but it was really cool because like after I did Breach a couple months before that, and you know when you get to the point that you kind of get pooped out a little bit, and but yeah, when I did that one, yeah, the first week was a little sketchy, and then after that, when I started like being able to do the effects and stuff like that, I worked with Jordan Sanders was there with me, and then of course it was put through Soda Effects, and yeah, and me and Jordan spent, you know, almost a month like covering Nick with a bunch of goo. And he was amazing. He was amazing. I know there's a lot of people that are like either they like him or don't like him, and he's like guilty pleasure for me. Like I love like Sorcerer's Apprentice, and like I always love watching his movies because it's him, and I always think he's fun to watch. But with working with him, that dude is actually really smart. He's really smart, and he actually puts a lot into it. And he was really gracious. And he wasn't a brat when I had to do my job. And believe me, I've worked with some actors that if I would do what I did to him, they would just complain all the time. And he never complained once. I was super stoked. It made my job so awesome. So it made it fun.
Yeah. I'm actually happy to hear that because I'm also
he's like
fan,
awesome. Like seriously. And his makeup artist, Pamela Warden, she's like super awesome. Like it's his personal makeup artist, and she was super easy to work with. And you know, like everything that was done, like obviously everything that was flying and dying, that was my job. Anything that had to be reestablished was Pamela's on him, and we worked together perfection. She was great, and I think right now they're in Budapest and she'll be coming home soon. So it's like, yeah, it was like, I'm crossing my fingers because it looks like that movie's going to be really fun and a good one. And cross my fingers because they're talking about doing a part 2. So,
oh, nice. Yeah.
Well, here and there, you know what I mean? When they ask.
Yeah.
So I'm like, dude, that would be fun.
Yeah. I mean, just reading the write up, and it says Nicolas Cage, and then they write in demonic animatronics. So I'm like, okay, well, this sounds for me.
So everything you've heard is 100% of what it is. And I so wish that I could say things because it's like, it's fun. Like, I'm excited to see it. And I mean, it looks like it's coming out like, I don't know, maybe February, March, something like that.
Cool.
So
we can always do part 2 and we'll bring you back and then we'll talk
oh
about
my
it.
gosh, I'm telling you, like I'm excited to see it. I mean,
Yeah.
and I don't say that a lot when
Yeah, I was gonna
like,
say, is it sometimes hard to watch your own movies that you worked on, like as a movie?
Well, lately I've been really digging it. Like I've been, like I told Trista, watched Purgatory Road, and I watched it, um, with my sister and her husband, um, and I was so excited to like just watch it with somebody, and I knew it was gonna be good, but like I just like really enjoyed it even more. And it was really cool because like I always ask my family, I'm like, do you want to just watch the movie or do you want me to give you commentary? And they're like, give me commentary. And I'm like, okay, right there, I'm hiding behind the garbage can. And over there, like I'm over there. And like there, I'm literally down on the ground spraying a spray bottle up their face. So that makes it fun. So we watched Purgatory Road and then we watched the special that night and we had a really good time.
Yeah,
That special was a fun one to watch.
yeah, it was gonna play at a one of the last conventions I was at, Buffalo Dreams Fantastic Film Festival. And for some reason it did get, I think it might have got distribution, but anyway, some reason it didn't play. But I was looking forward to seeing it because it sounded fun. And
Have you seen it yet?
no, I've not seen it yet.
Oh my gosh, you have to see it. I think it's on Amazon. Do you have Amazon?
Yeah, I
I
didn't
think
know it
it's
was up
on
there.
Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this.
Yeah, watch it. Like, and then so everything once it starts getting gross, that's me. So
Uh-huh.
and the end part, like, it's totally worth it. Harrison was amazing to work with.
Yeah, he's a really
Like
nice
I've
guy.
been
We had him
very,
on the show a couple times, and I met him at a Mad Monster party. He's a really nice guy.
he's so nice. Like he's just like super sweet. Like you work with him, he's like, okay, Kat, what do you need? And then I'm like, oh, we got to work with this and this. He's like, don't worry, and he's very flexible and just like a really crazy kind human. Like he's just such a doll. And I think the thing that I love about him the most is like he has so much faith in people, and he doesn't look at anything besides the good side, which is so rare, with
Yeah, he
people.
seems a very positive person whenever I've talked
Yes,
to or been around
he's
him.
a cool guy. Like I really like him a lot. It was great doing the special with him. I
Cool.
mean, I
Well,
was there, I think, for 6 days. And then and I was prepping and doing things. And then on the sixth day, we did an entire day of just effects. And I think that day, I could be wrong, Harrison would know. I think that day was like 16 or more hours, but it was so much fun because it was just all practical effects. So
yeah, I'm definitely have to watch it. I might watch it later on tonight.
yeah, I'm telling you, the end is worth it. And Davey, like the main character, he's so sweet and he's so good, and and he literally went through so much makeup and never even, he's like, Kat, just do whatever you need to do. Like, I don't care, I just want it to look good. I'm like, oh, thank you, because there's certain people that when you do movies, they're like, oh yeah, I'll put blood on me or I'll put prosthetics on me, and then 15 minutes into it, they're like, oh Lord, Isha, I'm itchy. And I'm like, did you read the script? You were supposed to be like a full-on monster and you're angry about it. So
Yeah,
what to say?
I could see not want to do that, but you would think just don't sign up for it then.
Oh, that's why I always say whenever I talk to producers, directors of movies, I'm like, just whatever you do, whoever you hire, even if somebody isn't getting a lot of prosthetics, if they're getting a lot of blood on them, like talk to them about it. Like communication. I think communication is super key. And I think that a lot of people just want to grab somebody and get them and not really talk to them. But I always think that if you really talk everything through, then there's not going to be any miscommunication and no hard feelings or no nothing. And I always say, like, you can have them call me. I will walk them through anything that I'm going to be doing. And on top of it, anything I've ever done to somebody, I've done to myself. So I know how it feels. And I know if something's uncomfortable, I know if something's itchy, and I know when things are cold, you know. And I mean, Trista knows even on Purgatory Road, like we were in the parking lot area and it was very chilly. And I'm very aware and I'm like, I'll just go under there wrap blankets, I'll lay underneath people and put my arms around them. I'll talk to them, but I'm first to make sure they're comfortable, that I'm touching them. But I'm like, I'll do whatever to keep people warm, especially if I put makeup on them, then they're kind of like my kid at that point. And that's what you do. You take care of your kid.
Good. By the way, where can people follow you to see? Do you have a page like where people can see like pictures of your work? Do you do anything like that?
No, isn't that sad? Like I'm super
is
bad
very
at
sad.
so I know. I'm like maybe I'll work on that. I should have did. I know I should have did that during COVID or something. Like no, I'm just very bad at self-promotion, and on top of it, I don't know. Like I'm just not one of those people that are like constantly pushing what I do. I just kind of do it because I love it, and then yeah, I don't know.
No, I understand that. I mean, to do the show, I have to promote, but I also understand I do it because I really like it. So I understand both sides of that.
No, I understand. Like I said, what you guys are doing, like it's important to. I'm like, but you know what? For you, Neal, I'll work on that. How about that?
All right, I'm very happy now.
That.
Yeah, and it's not just for me; it'll help you out as well.
Yeah.
But I like to look at it too.
Oh, it's
then
fun.
in future, when you come back on, I can just go take pictures and make a new banner.
Well, I think the thing is too, and I talked to Trista about before, it's like you do so many movies and then you can't show anybody these pictures. And then by the time you can, you've already done like 7 other movies.
Yeah.
And then your phone gets filled up and then it goes to the little Google cloud thing. And then you got to find it. And then I don't know how to find it. So I just I'll Google monsters or ghosts or something. And try
I'm
to
sure
find
a few
them,
things
and then
come up
show
with
me like a bottle of shampoo and yeah. It would take me like
Monster
forever.
energy drink and
I'm like I have so many pictures, and it's like that's why it was interesting when I started when I was talking to you guys. I was like, I should find my pictures. They're somewhere. But when you can't show them for so long, then you're like, well, I guess that picture's history until I find it again.
Yeah.
Then it's fun though when you find it.
Yeah.
Rediscover
It gives you really good memories.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I can relate to that. Like if it wasn't for Neal, like I'd never post any of like my stuff. Like you post 95% of my stuff, man.
I know. Troy won't post his artwork he draws.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to see your artwork.
Oh, then you got to talk to Neal because he's the one that.
Okay, well, I'll just talk to Neal.
Yeah.
There's Trista pictures that Troy's drawn and a lot of fun stuff for the show.
Oh, cool. So. I'll totally look that up.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Trey. I'll just go to Neal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the easiest way.
Okay.
But that's why I was saying I could relate to that because, like,
it's just
my own stuff. It's like, it's around here all the time. Like,
right.
Like, who would want to see that?
You get used to your stuff, but I'm sure it's still amazing.
Thank you.
Before I forget, so we're doing Doctors of December month. So it's the month we're dedicating to doctors within the horror world, and it's also to pay thanks to the real heroes this month.
That's very cool.
So, do you have any favorite doctors in film? Primarily horror, but it could be any kind of film.
The Reanimator.
I love it. Next week, Brian Yuzna is going to be on the show.
No way.
Yep.
Oh, that's awesome. I love the Reanimator.
I do too.
I'm trying to think. Dr. Giggles.
Another one.
Oh,
We're
nice.
also going to have the director of Dr. Giggles on soon. So
No way.
Ones, yes.
Yeah, you're doing a great job of plugging our show.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Oh my gosh. Well, of course, the dentist. You guys see the dentist because technically a dentist is a doctor.
Exactly.
Barry Corbett. Oh my gosh. Like after that, he was just in like Lifetime movies. But yeah.
Corbin Burnson. I mostly don't mention
Corbin.
to people who turned down the show, but he actually did reply himself and said he liked that we were doing this, but he couldn't do it. And I was like, well, that's cool. He replied anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I probably should mess up. My favorite time anyone turned down the show is William Shatner. I asked him to come on the show, and immediately I got a reply. William Shatner only does major media interviews, and it was all in caps, the major media. And it said it was from his whoever represents him.
Like
But in my
publicist or
mind, I'm
something.
thinking it's just him sitting there, and he was
Yeah.
offended that
That's
he's like,
awesome.
"What? I'm William Shatner."
You know what the crazy
Favorite
thing is?
one
Because you
ever.
really think he would be one of those ones that would like do it, like, and be like, F it, man. Like, I'm gonna do this. Cause he always kind of like goes off the deep, like, does his own things.
Yeah.
And that's a bummer.
It was, and another thing, he honestly, I thought it was a great at a convention. He did a panel, and it was for Twilight Zone, and he told all these stories that you never hear him talk about, and he seemed like a really different guy because he wasn't really doing the William Shatner shtick. He was talking about
Right. He was just
memories.
talking like a human.
Yeah, and I recorded, and I thought it was great. And then his people wouldn't let me post it. They're like, no, you can't post that.
Oh, that
Like,
sucks.
I actually think it makes them look good. I don't know why you don't want it anywhere, but
Well, you never you never asked who my favorite person was besides Trista.
no. Well, who is your favorite person besides Trista? Because that's that's
That's a
everyone's
great
favorite.
question. We should ask all of our guests.
I
Okay,
love it. And here's the
Besides
final question.
Trista
Who's
and
your
Monica.
first-
My favorite, like, because I worked and it's cool because I've got to work with like all different ranges. Because I mean, honestly, probably all the people there's so many people are really good, but my very, very favorite one is Lance. Lance Hendrickson is my favorite.
Oh, I love Lance Hendrickson.
And I've worked with him, I think, like 4 times now. And every time, oh my gosh, he is amazing. He's amazing and sweet.
I'm a big fan as well.
Yeah. He's a guy I could just listen to stories from. Just
Oh my gosh.
sit
yeah.
back and let him talk.
Yeah. And the thing is like anytime
great.
he's gone to set, he literally will sit there and he doesn't dismiss anyone. When somebody's like, oh, I hate to bother you, would you take a picture with me? He always does. Even when he's tired, everything. And he's always so kind. And he literally will listen to somebody talking to him as opposed to just like nodding his head or talking about himself. He like literally listens to people. And I find that incredible. And I love the fact that he's like does his pottery and he does other creative things. And like it was so cool because I worked with him like several times that like anytime he come on set, he would like know like ever. Like he'd always remember me and come straight to me. And it was just like he's classy and graceful, you know what I mean? And he's just like the actors that like walk into a room and you don't feel like they're going to be a snob, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't, know a little bit, but I had him on the show once, and it was so. I always remember this because he said he was sitting on top of like a giant statue of like a toad.
Oh, that's right.
awesome.
Over a pool in his house, and I was just
That's
like,
awesome.
"What?" But I was like, "Okay, that's all." Yeah, exactly. And
I'm like, yes, please.
right. And his book's great too. If you never read his book, Not Bad for Human.
Yeah, that one is really good.
And personal experience with him was at conventions. A friend of mine who runs a convention, is a very nice guy, but he'd always seat us in between like huge stars, which sounds great, but really it turns out to like there's giant lines over here, and we're just sitting there.
Yeah, you end up holding posters while they get a signature or take a picture with somebody.
So he sat us between Nick Castle,
like,
the original Michael Myers. So he was swarmed, and next to the cast of aliens, and they were swarmed. But one of them was Lance Henriksen, and he came over the whole weekend and talked to us, and was very
he was the best. And then he wore the shades. He wore the without your head shades,
right.
giving
I
the
was
finger
gonna say,
to the camera, which was classic.
He said, but besides Trista, but that's two of only a couple people who have the without your head sunglasses are Lance Henriksen and Trista Robinson. So
that might have been the same convention deal that like the elevator broke. And
I think it was actually. But...
So then like we had to walk down all the stairs, and I forget what floor we were on. Were we on the 4th floor or the 5th floor?
Probably the 5th floor. But...
Yeah. So we're down and everybody's whining and crying and complaining.
Yeah.
And he came walking down and he's like, yeah, being up on the 8th floor, that's a lot of stairs. I'm like, dude, you're like 35 years older than I am. Like, and you're not really complaining about it. I guess I should just shut up then.
Yeah, he's just so cool.
Yeah.
The first time I ever worked with him was on Cyrus, and then all the people were like, oh, Lance's coming, and I was like, I was tired. I had so much to do. Like Brian Krause is in it, and Daniel Harris, and I was pretty stoked to be the first time I worked with him. But I'm like, we were in like, you know, the RV thing, and I was sitting on the table because the director was talking to me, trying to figure out what we were going to do this day. And Lance walked in, and all these people are talking to him. And I was sitting at the table, and he looked at me and he said, "Are you Kat?" Because we messaged back and forth on email. I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You smoke, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Let's go." And he grabbed my arm and pulled me out of the RV, and then we hid. And we smoked for like a half an hour. We're just like smoking, like
You always
smoking.
find the
And then
smokers at
Mark's
the
like, "Can you guys
conventions.
get back in? And can we talk about like actually filming?" So
That's why I briefly smoked a pipe at conventions so I can hang out with the cool people out in the
right,
smokers.
yeah. Or you can get those gum candy things now. That I think they're back
Right.
now. Like,
Yeah,
remember back in the day?
I brought this up for the first time recently. I didn't even use real tobacco. I used some kind of mint thing. So I
Oh
was
yeah,
really,
just a relaxation thing.
yeah, just so I
With
could
no
hang out with the
tobacco.
smokers, right?
Yeah. That's
Oh,
why
yeah.
you bring me to these conventions, I think.
Right, that's the only reason.
I know.
No.
Lug your stuff around.
Well, yeah, of course. That's the other one.
Yeah, being in the smoking section is very helpful. You know.
Yeah, you do meet a lot of cool people. So that's the moral of the show tonight.
Yeah.
Is to hang out with the smokers, but
Yeah,
don't
hang out
smoke
with the
kids.
smokers.
That is not the moral. 'cause
And
it's
if,
not
and if
because
you,
it's that
and if you
You want to hang
drink,
out with the kid, cool kid.
you got to drink and smoke, and then you're
Yep.
cool. That's what it is. No, that's bad. It's all bad. Don't do any of that.
I agree. Just wear Christmas hats. You'll be good.
That's right. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. I have like some Yetis here. I'm sorry to interrupt the show, but I don't know what this is, but there's a bunch of Yetis.
Oh, it's like the Bumble.
Interesting. I don't know what that is, why that's there. I shouldn't have interrupted the show for that, but I found it interesting.
That's all right, because then we can say Bumbles bounce.
Exactly.
That's right. They do.
So anything in the works? I know Willy's Wonderland will be coming out in the next couple months.
Yeah, and I think Breach is coming out, I think this month. I think they're having premieres in Georgia and stuff like that. And they're going to theaters, whatever theaters are open, you know, sadly. And then obviously they're gonna do like, I think everything's going direct. With Willy's, I'm very excited to see how that's going to happen. I think they were kind of waiting to see if maybe they could with a COVID, you know, but we'll see what they do with that. Like I said, I'm equally as excited to see it. I've, you know, even with me working on it and seeing the footage of I got to do some badass shit and it was fun. So that'll be a fun see. And then I guess there's like stuff coming up this year, definitely. Like Roy from Soda Facts. I was talking about like maybe Harrison's doing some stuff. I'm always up for working for Harrison again if he's doing anything. And there's some other you know, I mean there's a couple things just can't say because I don't know if they want me to bring them up. But yeah, so we'll see, you know, and then it really just depends on what's going on in the world to see if it's a right choice for me to do. So yeah, I mean, other than that, I just want to kill some people.
There you go.
That's just why we're friends.
Yeah, that's the real moral of the show. I just want to kill some people.
Yeah.
It's about that time.
Right. And Miss Candace brings up that you're a master gardener and a rock collector. Very creative in every aspect of her life.
Wow.
Yes, I am. Want to get my master gardener's license next year.
Oh, wow.
I was going to do it this year. And then, yes, I love roses and I do landscaping and rock work. And then I build everything and then pretty much everything in our house for Christmas, all the wreaths, everything I built. And yeah,
Wow.
Can't keep a woman down.
Yeah.
Give me
What
some
does rock
glitter.
work involve?
Yeah, give me some glitter.
Like carving rock or like
Oh,
making
like
things
I'll
with
do like
rock?
rock stacking and stuff like that. I want to do
Interesting.
I'm gonna be doing I want to do molds and stuff like that so I can do like sculptures. I do wood sculptures and stuff like that.
Oh wow. That's very cool. Very interesting.
Well, gotta keep busy somehow, right?
Yeah. Oh, that's right. I forgot to bring this up because the special by the way, Miss Candace brings up won Best FX award at I have it in my notes and I forgot to bring it up at the Grimm Fest.
Yes. Yeah, I was really excited for them. I was super excited for Harrison to get that. I mean, Harrison really deserves it. He works really hard on his movies. And like I said, that was a fun one to do, you know. And it does have like a couple of puppet heads and that expand and do all this stuff. And yeah, and that was the one that we did all the massive effects in one day when I flew in. And yeah, I mean, that's the one you got to watch. Like the end is very gooey. If you like and
like
at the
gooey
end
movies.
it has all of the like the gel tints on the lights that would be like for the flies. So it has like all those blues, reds, and purples and stuff like that. So it has that ambiance that way.
Nice. Colorful puppets and goo. Some sort.
Yeah, it's very, very gooey. Very.
So three
very
things
moist.
I look for in film.
Very moist.
Yeah.
Very moist.
Trista, anything else?
Kat, I was wondering, you live in Memphis, right? So are you on the road all the time, or do you ever get to work locally?
Yeah, we live right outside of Memphis. We live kind of like in Oakland, Tennessee. It's right outside the city limits. We've been here Shay's lived, my husband's lived here his whole life. I lived in like Michigan and then Chicago for 23 years. And so I've been down here for 8 years and all I do is travel for work. So I never have gotten to work in Tennessee at all in 8 years. Wow. But I think too with this state, like, I mean, it's more of like music videos, beauty stuff, like, which I do beauty makeup also. But I think what it comes down to is there's such, just like it was in Chicago before when I first started, there's like so many people that are ingrained in there. Those are the first people they're going to call. And then again, I really haven't spent the time to go like, hey, I'm going to put my name out there when I'm home, because when I'm home, I kind of just want to like, I'm done working and I just want to like chill out, you know, do something at home. I just cook a lot and me and Shay hang out. And so when I'm home, I guess I really don't want to work as much. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably like, I'm probably making my own spinny thing of like, you know, not staying home. But it's cool to go other places. Then you get to meet like a million other cool people.
Yeah. Very good. All right, this has been really fun. I'm glad that this worked out. Guys. Thanks, Trista, for suggesting it, and thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And this would be fun to do again. Once we could talk about Willy's Wonderland. I think it'd be fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because I actually, once that happens, I'll talk to Jessica and Jeremy and the producers and stuff like that. And then once we're able to like put out, because I got some really cool pictures when that happens, and like, so yeah, definitely.
Very good.
We'd love that.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a fun one either way. It's gonna be moist. So that's the only way I can put it without saying anything.
It's gonna go on the poster. It's a moist one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. And thank you for having the patience when my phone was not working.
Yeah. It all worked out. Yeah.
Well, you guys have a fantastic night, and I'm sure I'll talk to y'all soon.
Yeah. And have a great Christmas.
Yeah,
you guys
thank you
do.
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and talk to y'all soon.
Yep, and thanks everyone for watching. It was a full chat tonight. Everyone is here to praise Kat.
Very nice.
Everyone
really
nice. Good night, everybody.
Okay, good night.
Bye. I'm gonna wave awkwardly while I figure out how to end this.
Yeah, I'm like,